year. It's 2026. Wow! So I thought that I could make a fun video where I did kind of an art recap for 2025. But first, hi, hello, Happy New Year. I'm sorry I didn't get a video out last month. So what happened was, the entire month of December was just filled with stupid circumstances and scenarios. So like beginning of the month, I roll my ankle down the stairs really badly. It hurt. Luckily I didn't sprain or break it, but an entire month later, it is still working on healing. It still hurts to walk on it, so I'm still healing from that. But the first couple of weeks I could barely walk, oh my gosh. And then, about halfway through December, we sprung a big leak in our living room ceiling. I might have footage. Maintenance had to come in and cut open a hole in our ceiling and fix like the pipes that were under our upstairs bathroom, because that's what was leaking. Oh, it's like we had a little leak and I had a bowl under it. You know, I'm working and at some point I turn around and there's like 5 more spots in the ceiling that are dripping, and also water dripping down the banister and the wall, and there's a lot of it, and I scrambled. I was like, oh no, oh no. Got a bunch of towels, sopped it all up, put in an emergency maintenance request, like our ceiling is leaking very badly and there's no way we can contain this, so please come fix it. And they did. We had a hole in our ceiling for about a week. Had to have big powerful fans going on for a couple of days to dry everything out after the pipe was fixed. Contractor had to come in and fix the ceiling. You see what I mean? Oh, and then after holiday shopping, guess what I got on Christmas besides gifts? The flu. And it was bad. It was bad. I got my vaccine, but I was still bedridden for like 5 solid days. It was bad. It was so bad. Actually, on like the first night that I got a fever, the pain was like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I was thinking to myself, should I go to the hospital for this? Because I can barely move or speak because of the pain. But then Billy cuddled up in my lap, our dog, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up 2 hours later at like 10, 11 at night, drenched in sweat. Drenched. Like sweat dripping down my face. So I accidentally broke that fever and I felt human again. I felt so good after. I was so relieved. For the last few days of December, I was out. There was no hope of putting together a video for December. There was no hope. I was down for the count. I still have like a cough and a bit of a sore throat, mostly just the cough. So if I cough or clear my throat, or my voice sounds scratchy, or I sneeze, I'm sorry. I'm still recovering from the flu, all right? I'm sorry. 2025. In art. What did I do last year? A whole bunch. I'll tell you what. And I'm gonna show all that to you right now. Okay, so first off, we have the stats. I did 320 commissions. 320 finished colored commissions. That's a lot. Wow. As you can see, I added up all of the numbers for the types of commissions that I finished. The numbers might not be completely accurate. I go off of what's in my folders and what's in my Trello. But if they're not accurate, it's by like 1 or 2. So, on to the other numbers outside of commissions. The second most important to me would be personal art. And I did a grand total of 32 finished and colored pieces for myself. Literally 1/10 of the amount of commissions I did. In 2025, I managed to do 15 videos. 8 of those were actually put together, edited, filmed videos. And then 7 of those were smaller videos like mini vlogs that I barely edited and art time lapses. So I would say 8 solid videos is like the number I would go with. I only missed 2 months, and 1 was because of moving and 1 was December, which I just explained to you earlier, everything that happened. So that's okay. I can cut myself a break with that. This isn't like an amount of art that I made, but I did fulfill 129 shop orders in 2025. And that's pretty cool. By the way, if you're watching this, it's very likely that these are still available. The small ones, you get 5 random stickers from my shop, plus a little freebie. The big ones, you get 5 stickers and 2 art prints, plus a little freebie sticker. Speaking of merch, though, last year, this is not an impressive number by any means, but I made 2 new merch designs. T for T Forever sticker, lovely. It's so cute, I love it so much. And then we've got the Knife Scrunky sticker. And I love them both so much. Here are actually the physical stickers. He's so evil. I'm okay with not making a lot of merch because it's not the focus of my art. And the merch that I make, I want to be stuff that I love. Adoptable designs. I did 40 adopts in 2025. Most of them were on bases, but I think at least a couple were large, like full characters with sheets. I would like to do some more base adopts soon. And also, members on Patreon and Ko-fi get first dibs, right? And discounts depending on the tier that you're in. Keep that in mind. Bases. I created 2 bases last year. Those have also become much less of a priority. I don't find them very fun to make anymore. Mega Dragonite was revealed, so I made a Mega Dragonite base. And then I think the other one was a Chibi Dragonite base. I do like both of those, so yay! 2 bases. Don't ask me about the Animal Crossing base that I started years ago. Just don't ask me about that. That's all of the number statistics I have for last year. Wow, so much art. Whee! Yippee! So much art! Yay! But wait, there's more. What did I achieve last year? That's not just numbers. Well, first of all, I opened those Ko-fi YCHs where your character is drawn as a small little seasonal treat, and they turned out to be very popular, so that's a success. I started with the summer ice pops, the gumball popsicles. Yes, those were very cute, and since they were popular, I was like, why don't I do them for the rest of the year? Autumn was sugar cookies, and winter is gingerbread cookies. I know what I'm gonna do for spring, but I'm not gonna reveal it just yet. Alright, you're gonna have to wait until spring. Also, on Ko-fi, I opened Doodle Moms, little Pokemon and Digimon that I draw in MS Paint. Doodle Moms did not turn out to be as popular as the YCHs, but that's okay because people are just sponsoring a canon Pokemon or Digimon and not like a character. I can see why that's not as appealing. I still decided to offer it because it's fun. You know, people like to see their favorite Pokemon drawn, and it's also very fun to draw in MS Paint because the limitations actually kind of inspire my creativity. Oh, I put together my first sketchbook collection. I scanned all of my old sketchbooks this year, and I put together a scan collection of my 2 oldest ones from high school, and then I wrote commentary in a text file. Yeah, I did that, and I'm actually really, really proud of that. So if you want to check out my old art from high school and read all about what I was doing, what I was drawing, the characters, etc., you can check that out on my shop. on my coffee shop. Next up is Art Fight. That was happening during the month that we were moving. Yeah, I was very busy, but I still managed to participate. I was on Team Crystals. I drew some characters that I thought were very cool or cute or just inspired me to draw them. I created 2 new head worlds. I started playing ClanGen, I think in 2025, maybe 2024, but like I started getting really into it last year. And I created a world for my cat clans. And then the second head world that I made, it's called Arrowwill, and it's basically an alternate universe for my Sonas and potentially other original characters that I might create for it. It's a digital MMORPG world. There's classes and magic and monsters. If you've ever watched Sword Art Online, I know it's cringe. The actual setting of the world itself, I've always loved. My original main Sona was going to canonically be in that type of world. I just never got around to making it. So it's a very self-indulgent project where there's like 100 floors of different biomes and monsters and stuff. I just want to make some cool like boss characters and monsters and stuff. And then imagine my Sonas using their powers and fighting. It's so nerdy. So I would call that an art achievement because when I get really invested in something and actually flesh out the art and the world building and the characters, that's a big deal. But it's something that I can look back at and be like, oh, I spent a lot of time doing that, and look, I've got stuff to show for it, and it's really cool. And whenever I'm interested in it again, I can jump right back in and keep creating for it. And it's just for me. It's just for me. But it makes me happy, so. Achievement achieved. So I did a bunch of stuff, right? So I did a bunch of stuff. But what are my favorites of that stuff? First up, my favorite video that I created in 2025 is the Myrtle Beach vlog, of course. I don't know if it is objectively the best edited, but it is in my heart. I was inspired the entire time I was at the beach. I was having so much fun getting footage. I was getting ideas for what edits I would make in the video, and I had so much fun editing it. I'm so proud of all of the edits that I made in that video. The music, the transitions, the aquarium section with the underwater Pokemon music. I'm so happy with it. It also like personally means a lot to me because it was the first time I was seeing my dad in almost a decade. And I got to spend time with him and my brother and spend time at the beach, which I grew up next to. So it was a very personal and healing video to film and create. I'm just very proud of it. And if you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it. Because, I don't know, maybe you'll like it too. Next up, my favorite piece of personal art that I did is this Pokemon trainer piece for my True Sona Max. All of my favorite Pokemon in one team. It's a fully rendered piece, which I very rarely do for myself. It took a lot of time, but I needed an example for the new way I wanted to do Pokemon trainer commissions, and I saw the opportunity. There's actually quite a few details in this piece. The clothes that my Sona is wearing are all mine, except the overshirt is just a different pattern. The Gen 3 Pokédex that they have, I actually have a real working Gen 3 Pokédex. It's actually over there, I'm gonna go get it. This, I actually have it. It opens, the batteries needs replacing right now, but you can turn it on. There's mini games, there's the entire Pokédex, first through third gen on here. So this is the Pokédex that I decided they would have. The Pokemon, of course, are all my personal favorites. I always name my Ampharos Gen. I have done this since playing Silver. Fun fact, it's actually named after a character from a manga I used to read. It's like middle schoolers with powers are brought to a special school. One of the teachers is Jino, I think is his name, and he has lightning powers, and the students call him Jin Jin. I just took that name and I was like, I'm gonna name my Ampharos after this character because lightning powers, electric type Pokemon, and then it just stuck. I'm gonna nominate Fish Coffee for my favorite piece of traditional art that I did in 2025. I kind of want to take the concept of it and turn it into a sticker or maybe a colorful, silly little art print this year. Who knows? I don't know. Fish Coffee. I think it's very cute, very fun, and I want it as merch. Favorite merch that I made in 2025? Well, trick question. As I said earlier, I only made 2 pieces, and they're honestly both my favorite. I can't choose between them. The T for T Forever sticker, I drew in MS Paint. I just had so much fun doing that. Stupid little doodle, and I loved it so much that I wanted to make it a sticker, and then I did, like, immediately, and I made it for me. And then I also made the knife scrunky sticker for me. It makes me very happy, so both of the stickers are my favorite. Next thing is my favorite commissions that I did in 2025. I'm not going to choose one piece. It's incredibly hard to narrow it down to just one. Second of all, I don't want to show favoritism toward any particular client because I have a lot of repeat clients. I love and appreciate you all equally. But I will show a bunch of different commissions that I had a lot of fun working on. Here's a bunch of them. Wow, aren't they so cool? Wow. They were very fun to do. Thank you so much to everybody who commissioned me this year. Next chapter, woo woo, and this is the final one. What are my creative goals for 2026? New year, new me. New year, new art. I want to make at least one new merch piece. If it's just the Fish Coffee one, then great. If it's something else that I find inspiration for, great. If I make more than one merch piece, great. That's like A+ in my book. I want to put my heart and soul into at least 2 really good videos this year that I can be proud of. My goal with every video is just to build experience, the ideas, the structure, the filming, the editing. If it turns into something that I'm very proud of, enough to want like anyone to see, then that is the biggest bonus I could possibly ask for. And for this year, I just want to manage to be able to do that with at least two videos. That would be great. More traditional art and scrapbooking. In 2025, I filled like 2 pages in my sketchbook and I think 4 in my scrapbook. I just want to do more than that this year. Oh, another thing I want to do this year, I want to put together my next sketchbook scan collection. Mostly a personal project. If people buy it, then that's great. If they don't, then that's fine. I might even be able to do all the way up to my most recently completed sketchbook. Actually, I could maybe put a couple of sneak peeks of stuff that would be in this next sketchbook collection. Consider becoming a member of my Patreon or Ko-fi to check it out when it drops. My next goal is just doing more world building. Specifically, I would like to focus on my head worlds of Pharos, which is my Pokemon region, and Aerawil, which I talked about earlier. It's a really new head world, so it needs a lot of fleshing out. So like designing Pokemon designs and rivals and characters, maybe more routes, etc. And then doing monster designs and maybe biome designs for the different levels of the world that they're in. The last bullet I have on here is new ref for my main Sona Clover. My main Sona has not gotten enough love recently. They need a new reference very badly. So that might be the one thing I don't manage to do this year. I'm really looking forward to this year. I have high hopes for things that I can achieve in my personal life, and I have realistic hopes for what I can achieve for myself creatively. And maybe next January I'll end up doing a recap for 2026, and we'll see what goals I manage to hit. If I manage to do anything more than all of that, anything else notable, then I will be proud of myself. Because I am proud of myself for being a working artist. If you are an artist, be proud of the things that you make. Even if you didn't hit the nail on the head, or even if people don't respond to it as positively as you wanted, you know, if you make art in any capacity, be proud of yourself for that. In this day and age, making something with your human hands and your human mind is so valuable. Keep making things, and if you have any goals for this year, I would love to hear about them. But I think that's it from me for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, maybe comment, that would be cool. You don't need to. Have a wonderful day and Happy New Year. Happy New Year! Whee! Yay! Huge shout out to my top tier patrons for this month. Your names are right here. Thank you so much to all of the members of my Patreon or Coffee for supporting. Okay, bye. Did I try to do like a new outro? Like a specific little thing? Like some people like duck? What if I try to do that? Okay, bye! No, both of my knees just cracked so much. Oh, that's not a good idea. I'm turning 28 in a month.